2, 3, 4.
Run up your engines! Here's an interesting one. This is the 2020 Toyota TRD off-road RAV4. Now, people have often criticized RAV4 saying, oh, it's a soccer mom's car, you know, it's for women in suburbia driving around. Not this one. TRD all-wheel drive, sort of off-road car. It's got this nice kind of gunmetal gray. I like the color. It's got a nice size. The obligatory roof racks on it. And as you can see, it's got the old auto opening back. Lots of room inside. Oh look, there's my beach umbrella and chair. We took it to the beach. As you can see by the TRD off-road, it's got rubber mats everywhere. Even down here, when you put the seats forward. This is one RAV4 that's ready to get dirty. But it also has the convenience, auto opening and shut. It's got lots of room. This RAV4 is almost the same size as the original Toyota Highlander. They seem to be making everything bigger, and not just here in Texas. As you can see when we open it up, nice utilitarian inside, black and red. The back seats, got lots of room. And yeah, it's got air conditioning in the back. It's got power takeoffs in the back for your computers and phones. And no cheapy back seat. Comfy, got headrest on it. Nice armrest if you want, if you don't want to sit somebody in the middle. And of course it's a Toyota, so you push the button and it starts right up. It's got all the modern conveniences, all your syncing stuff, and this is set up for syncing grade. And like any modern SUV, it's a compromise setup. I'm getting 29.1 miles per gallon driving this thing around, which is a combination of a decent engine. It's a 4-cylinder, 203 horsepower, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. When you're going 60 miles an hour in this thing's only ticking to like 1700 RPMs. So it gets good gas mileage on a highway, but it still has decent acceleration because it's got 8 speeds. As we look under the hood, it's got a nice 4-cylinder engine, but it doesn't have a turbo on it. So guess what? It's going to last a lot longer. This baby's got a nice 2.5 liter 4. It's not a race car, but it's set up for the best compromise. Decent acceleration and good gas mileage for an SUV. Realize, they're not cars. They're higher up in the air. This is the off-road version. It's even higher up in the air. Still gets decent gas mileage. And being a Toyota, I'm sure it's going to be ultra reliable. It's brand new. This 8-speed automatic transmission, Toyota's a company that keeps perfecting things. The earlier 8 speeds, a lot of people moaned and groaned about them. But let me tell you, in 2020, got rid of the problems that any of the older ones had that they've done software updates and stuff on. Toyota looks at something and then they perfect it over time. And like anything else, things often aren't perfect the first go around. These 8 speeds have been around a while now, and they're perfecting them. Don't do like a lot of American companies do. They make something that doesn't work, so they scrap it and then they try something else. Take something that works good and make it better. You want a vehicle that's reliable, decent gas mileage, decent power, 2.5 liters is fine. Don't turbocharge it, and guess what? The engine's gonna last a lot longer, which is the main reason people buy Toyotas, because they last a long time. Now, this thing obviously has been upgraded. It has one thing that I have to say is a marvel of engineering. Being the TRD off-road, it's got off-road specially designed tires. It comes with these 18-inch all-terrain trail tires. You can see it's an aggressive tread, made so it can handle various terrains, sand, mud, whatever. But what I found almost impossible to believe is Toyota worked in conjunction with them to design this tire. I drove it down to Galveston, took the highway, and guess what? It's no different noise-wise than driving in any of my cars that have normal tires. And even if you don't own or never driven an off-road vehicle, you've seen them pass you on the road, you can hear their tires humming away, right? Baby's quiet. How on earth they figured to make a good grippy tire that doesn't make noise is beyond me, but these guys know what they're doing. And that shocked me. I expect to get on the road and, well, it's off-road, so it's going to be noisy. It was not noisy. It was nice and quiet. How they made these tires that aggressive and being quiet? Some engineers didn't know what the heck they're doing. And the same thing goes with the suspension. You can see it's lifted up, but it rode quite well. You take it off-road, it can handle a certain amount. This isn't a Jeep that's going to be climbing up giant rocks and stuff, going sideways. It's not made for that. But you could do a reasonable amount of off-roading, and still, when you're riding on the road, it goes smooth. And if you watch me, I'm often denigrating engineers for making stupid designs. Well, in the case of these Toyota engineers, hey, I'm giving them praise. And I don't give praise lightly, let me tell you. My wife's always telling me I'm so cynical about everything. Well, when I see something that actually works, kudos to the people who design something that actually does work both ways. You can make it harsh, driving it around, but it still rides smooth on normal roads. And with this practically military color on it, it doesn't have the connotations of, oh, it's just a RAV4 that women want to drive around in. It's got a little oomph to it. And as we look inside, you can see, you can set it for economy, for normal, for sport shifting. And you can set up the all-wheel drive system, push for normal, or you can turn it and put it on mud and sand, rock and dirt, snow, and going downhill. Now, true off-roaders might whine because the maximum that it can give the rear wheels is 50% of power. But, like I say, this isn't a rock climbing Jeep that's going to go up gigantic degrees and climb over giant boulders. It doesn't have the clearance for that. It's mild off-roading. And you're certainly not going to have any problems driving through the snow. You live in Boston, Alaska, wherever. It's certainly going to go through the snow. It's got the snow set up, and I like it that it's got the going down the hill. A lot of these things, the freewheel going downhill, you push the downhill one, and it's going to handle better. This all-wheel drive system was also thought out by some pretty smart engineers. Boy, you had all this technology. Hoo-wee! When it breaks, it's going to cost you a fortune, and then you're going to get rid of the vehicle because it doesn't work right. It's still a Toyota. From my experience with them, they make systems that hold up over time and don't fall apart. If this had been a Chrysler vehicle, I would immediately think, yeah, how long is that going to last for? That system goes kaput and the transmission doesn't work anymore. That's not something that Toyotas are known for. They're known for being reliable. Now, one way I tested this out, besides driving to the beach, and wife came with me. She hates off-road vehicles. She said they ride like crap. They're way too high up in the air. They make a lot of noise. She was impressed. She really liked this vehicle, and that didn't surprise me after I drove it around because, hey, I drove it around in the city first, and it was riding pretty good. And on the highway, it was pretty quiet. So, you could satisfy a lot of people here. You can have a little fun with it on the side, and your wife just wants something to drive around in that's smooth enough, has a lot of room. You got both worlds in one vehicle. Now, I've been fixing cars for 52 years. I know, for a fact, understanding the average American, people are probably going to start coming out with putting superchargers on these things to give them more speed. They want to, more power to them. But as this TRD off-road stands today, in factory form, it's pretty much close to a perfect compromise as you can get. It's high enough that you can go over certain things, but not so high that you feel cumbersome. It handles bad, it rides bad, it's a tendency of rolling over if you go too fast. This thing was well thought out. Now, Toyota's been making these RAV4s for 26 years. They've evolved. And interesting enough, since it's a Toyota product, they keep perfecting them as time goes on. So, you take a look at a 94, it's much smaller than this, much more underpowered. They still could run a really long time. But they have the idea of improving as time goes on and adding the things people want. Bluetooth connection that's simple that anybody can do. Took me 30 seconds to hook up my Samsung Android so I could play Spotify music on it. And I didn't even do anything else, but then when I'm going down the road, it starts popping up. Hey, you got an email, you got an email. Of course, me, I'm always getting emails. I had to turn that off of my phone. You got email from, and the list just goes on and on and on. But if you're into that kind of stuff, this thing's all set up for that. 30 seconds, you got it hooked up. And then, of course, like all of them, they remember as soon as you get in the car, you got the phone in your pocket. It automatically knows what you're doing. A very good setup. Some of these car manufacturers, I don't know what it has to do with the software. They don't want to pay for rights or something, but they are hellacious to hook up phones to. This thing, boom, boom, it's on. And it's got kind of a good mix of a little aggressive. It's got the dual exhaust, the off-road sticker on it, and the modern technology of these great new antennas. Do you notice? They don't have anything sticking out that's going to grab on trees and stuff. I love these new ones. Kind of funny, I changed my old Matrix into this too because I got tired of the trees knocking the antenna up, and these work just as good. You know, anything poking out. It can tow up to 3,500 pounds. This thing has all kinds of things designed into it that you can make use of if you want. And if you don't put a hitch on it. This thing isn't a real off-road rock crawler. It doesn't have the low range capability of, say, a Jeep. I'd never buy a Jeep anyways, but I mean, those things are made more for insane climbing over rocks. This doesn't have that. But it's not made for that. This is a perfect combination of a RAV4 and an off-road vehicle they can use in many situations. Hey, this off-roader even has a nice sunroof on it. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, in a mild off-road capable vehicle, TRD might be something you'd want to think about. If you're looking for a vehicle that can last a long time, yet still be able to have some fun in. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.